Hey there, fellow travelers. Welcome to a special episode of the Tolkien Road post Super Bowl Sunday, Valentine's Day, and obviously the reason we're all here is the Rings of Power teaser trailer that premiered during the Super Bowl last night, and we are going to talk about our initial reaction to it, seeing it in person as we were, watching the big game with our friends and our family, and share our thoughts on that. And then we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown, scene by scene. Not super long was, I think I was probably expecting something a little longer, but it was not super long. So there's not a ton to break down, but there's a good bit. There's a good bit packed into that trailer, and that little teaser. So it's more of a teaser than a trailer, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Doesn't really tell us too much, but there's a lot to talk about in it. So
cool.
Hey, before we dive in, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. All right. By the way, I'm going to be doing at some point this week, I'm going to be doing a video where I break down, some of my thoughts on the whole controversy over compressing the timeline of 3,000 years into, what they, I think, said was like a kind of a single point in time, and why I had such a negative reaction to that idea. I've had some of you all write me and say like, well, maybe you can view it this way, but I want to make my case. And, and I think, and I have a lot to say. I have a lot on my heart about that. So
all the feelings.
Yeah. So our big principle here with regard to all of the Latron Prime, now Rings of Power, Amazon business is, what would Tolkien think? And that's a challenging thing, because it requires, he's not here to tell us, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't been here for some time. We don't know what he would have thought about the Peter Jackson movies. All we can do is look back at different things that he's on record as having said, different actions, and I think that's kind of where we start, is the things that he's actually said explicitly in the past, to triangulate and get to the point, get to the heart of what he would have thought. And there's some other things we can look at. We can, I think it's fair to say that Christopher's opinion mattered a lot, because Christopher probably knew, next to his father, knew these stories, knew the legendarium, knew the feel of it all better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just, I think, a third order maybe is our impressions, right, as fans, and that's tougher, because we all bring different things to the table, right? We all bring different backgrounds to the table. But my biggest thing is like, what can we say about what Tolkien would have thought? And that's how I think I'm going to look at, my critical take on the Rings of Power going forward, right? That's going to be the big thing that I tend to hang my hat on. So, and I mean, honestly, I'd encourage you all to do the same, right? I feel like in the last couple of days since those initial stills were released, there's been a lot of, I think there's been a lot of good discussion, but I think there's also a lot of people who are having very strong reactions one way or the other. And, my thing is, I understand strong reactions. There's no writer, there's no art that matters more to me than Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings and the legendarium of Middle Earth. But, always remember the human on the other side of the equation, and don't lose perspective, because I don't think that's something Tolkien would have wanted no matter what. Anyway, so enough sermonizing from me. So we're going to share our initial reactions. Greta, do you want to share yours first, or do you want me to share mine? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I probably don't have quite as much to say as you do. That's usually how it goes. Okay. Yeah. My first thought was, that's it. Like that's all you're going to give us. Okay. Whatever. It moved very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be completely honest, it didn't get me very excited. I feel like, and I don't know if that's just because they didn't give me enough. And I feel like a lot of the stuff we'd already seen, like in the stills, right? Like we'd already seen that elf that shot the flaming arrow, and we'd already seen the guy on the raft in the stormy sea, and we'd already seen those wizard hunters or whatever wearing the antlers on their back. Like I feel like we'd already seen a lot of it. The only difference was that it was in motion, and narrated, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just kind of like, meh, you know, if my decision to watch the show is based solely on that teaser trailer, I don't know that I would make it a priority.
Yeah.
And that little kid or whatever with the horns bothered me. I did not like. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give me some insight on what kind of race of person. I don't know if it was a pre-Hobbit or what. I don't know, but I really didn't like the horns in the little kid's head.
Well, we'll definitely talk about that in the breakdown. Okay. What I think who I think we're dealing with there.
Okay. The scenery, though, obviously beautiful.
Yeah.
And the cinematography, I think, is going to be good.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that's all I've got for now.
All right. That was your initial reaction.
It did not. Yeah. I was just meh.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. I think in my case, probably similar feelings. I think that it did go by very quickly. Right. And there was a lot of things that I feel like I'd already seen in the stills from the other day. Now, that being said, that's not surprising. I think that I think this is the initial big media push to to like just let people know this thing is coming. And, most people probably hadn't seen the Vanity, but most people watching the Super Bowl had not seen the Vanity Fair stuff.
That's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, that was the goal. When you spend money during the Super Bowl, your goal is to hit as wide an audience as possible. And honestly, probably to hit them in like the most, I don't know if generic's the right term, but just kind of the most general way that's going to like capture, make as many people interested as possible.
Yeah.
I think that my big thing coming away from it was, how is this Middle Earth? Seriously, like I was just like, I mean, it looks Middle Earth-ish at least like in terms of the Peter Jackson films. And obviously the visuals were stunning. But I was like, you're not going to give anything to like the hardcore Tolkien fans, like just a little glimpse of like, the Two Trees of Valinor or, or some indication of like, like what I guess that this is truly Middle Earth, that there's things in here that we have not yet seen on screen that we've been dying to see, that we've wanted to see for a long time. So that was my initial reaction, right? It was just kind of like, and it was funny. We had some friends over watching the game with us, and the guy that I was sitting next to as we watched this, he was like, he's not really a Middle Earth guy. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if he's read the stories or not.
I don't think he has.
But halfway through the trailer, he's like, Narnia.
Yes. Yeah.
And, and I was like, I mean, okay. I think he's kind of, busting my chops a little bit, but like, but then I like looked at it again and I was like, oh, I think I know where he said Narnia as I was watching it again this morning and doing the breakdown. So we'll talk about that here. Yeah. So I was a little bit underwhelmed, quite honestly.
Yeah, same.
And I'm not like in despair about it this morning. I just think it's like, I don't know that it was necessarily intended for the Tolkien geeks. Like,
no, I would completely agree with that. It totally wasn't. Like you said, they're trying to hit up as wide an audience and appeal to as many people as possible.
Now, the thing that worries me, and this is the thought in the back of my head, is that they are going for an approach that is basically a recapitulation of the Lord of the Rings, right? And
movies,
yeah, right, or essentially, I guess that's the best way of putting it. That, and I think back to Star Wars Episode 7 when that came out, and how much I was just like, they're just basically retelling A New Hope, the original Star Wars movie, like, but set in a later time, and I, and eventually I just feel like all that became a disaster, and that's a whole sidebar. This is not a Star Wars podcast, but or Star Wars channel. I actually really like the new shows they've come out with, so I feel better about the future of Star Wars. But I'm like, please don't do that with this. Like, this is not the story of the Lord of the Rings, and I feel like that's what they're kind of like setting the stage for. It's just my impression. I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like that's not the story I expected to be told, quite honestly.
But again, like you said, we really don't have much to go on.
Well, we don't have much to go on, but I feel like there were so many different ways they could have gone about it. And I don't know, it's like, Monday morning quarterback, right? But I really don't want them to just retell Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings 3,000 years ago, right? Before it took place, right? With different characters. And my sense is that maybe that's what's coming. But anyway, that's my initial reaction. Greta shared her initial reaction. So let's get into some scene by scene breakdown of the teaser. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. All right. Let me share my screen here. And I'm going to mute this. So we're not going to listen. We're not going to watch the whole thing through, y'all. We're just going to kind of, hit the stills. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I assume you've seen it if you're here watching this right now. All right. Move this over here. Okay. So here we go. All right. Y'all can probably see that. Y'all should be able to see that. All right. So first scene is this unfolding. And I would say this is actually kind of, this has Middle Earth vibes to it for sure. And so, I was like, okay, right. But nothing strongly Middle Earth. I feel like a lot of the visuals we saw are things that came from the Peter Jackson films and have entered the popular visual, like they've almost risen to become cliches in fantasy storytelling and fantasy movie making, right? And maybe I'm hoping for, and there's a reason things become a cliche, right? Because they communicate an idea well, right? But also cliches can get tired, and I'm really hoping that we don't just deal in cliches, right, throughout the whole thing. But yeah, I was thinking about like, where is this, right? But let me say first of all that basically this was the longest line in spoken thing within the whole. I think it was the only spoken thing within the whole teaser. And here's the whole line. Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wondering. That's a lot of wondering, folks.
A lot of W's.
Well, it's like wonder, like I wonder, and then it's like wonders in this world, right? And then it's wandering, like in terms of going on a long journey, right?
It's kind of clever.
Well, it is, but I was like, okay, I don't know. I mean, I'll try not to be too cynical about it, but I'm like, well, there's our first lines from from this new work of Middle Earth fiction, and it doesn't hit me like so many good parts of Tolkien's own writing hit me, right? You okay?
Yeah, sneezy.
Excuse
me. Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, anyway, I won't belabor that point, but I did think it was like, that's a lot of wondering in in two sentences right there. So
it was a little Dr. Seuss-ish to me.
Yeah.
But
now
I didn't hate it.
I think I know which character is saying that. So at least I have a kind of a strong moral a strong moral sense of who's saying it. So it doesn't bug me terribly, but anyway, it's a nice little thought.
It is a nice little thought.
All right. So,
stage setter.
Here we go. So we're looking at, there's the full reveal of this first scene. And Greta, do you have any guesses on where you think this is?
Nope.
Okay.
None.
All right. Do you want to know where I think it is?
Yes.
Well, I think we're looking, my best guess is that we are looking at Rómenna, which is the port on the eastern side of Númenor, right?
Okay.
And that was where, like, at the end of the Second Age, the faithful were, it was kind of the main shipbuilding port of Númenor. And at the end of the Second Age, it was where, like, the faithful had to, like, gather, and so our Father's Own could keep track of them. And part of it is, I think that's the Meneltarma, right, in the background, right? So the pillar of heaven, the mountain in the center of Númenor that we're looking at right there.
That makes sense.
So So yeah, it's interesting to think, are we looking at like a statue of Eärendil right there?
Oh,
right?
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps. So yeah, this is my thought. I did have an initial thought that maybe we're looking at the Grey Havens, but I think a better answer is probably Rómenna. That's what I put my money on right now. Comment below if you think I'm wrong, if you think it's something different, or if you have some other ideas. All right. So any other thoughts before I move on, Greta?
No, I think that's a good guess.
All right. Just jump forward 5 seconds. All right. We got these two guys again. All right. So we have kind of a scene that's very reminiscent, I would say, of a lot of the sweeping landscape photography work of the Peter Jackson trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy. And we have these two figures again. We talked about these two figures in the response to the Vanity Fair article the other day. There's a photo of them. I really feel strongly that we're dealing with two wizard-like figures here. They just give off very wizardish vibes to me. Why in the world are they wearing these antlers? I have no idea.
Do you think they might be hunters? And that's like their way of attracting their prey?
It's possible.
I mean, I don't know. Just a thought. You know how like instead of like a duck call,
you
would wear antlers to attract similar beings that have antlers like that.
Yeah.
But
it's possible.
I like the idea of wizards better.
Right.
I think that would be cooler.
Well, and it could be that they're two figures that we think are a certain thing, and then we find out later on that they're wizards, right? That they're giving off different vibes.
They're in disguise.
They're in disguise, somehow. So, but it's definitely, it's an interesting visual to think about who these are.
And this looks Middle Earth-ish to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the landscape and everything.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, not sure. Who do you think these guys are? Comment below. All right.
What's next?
All right. Then we have our friend here. Let me see if I can go back a little bit. Here we go.
That's it. That's the Narnia thing.
I know that's it. Right. So
it's Mr. Tumnus.
Right.
But maybe Mr. Tumnus's child.
Yeah. Mr. Tumnus's daughter, I think.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think these are actually like horns that are part of this person's head. Right.
I think it's like a hat.
I think it's a little like crown or something like that, yeah, like some like a headpiece that this character is wearing. So and I think this is the person that is narrating. Right.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I think this is a Harfoot, as we learned from the Vanity Fair article.
Pre-Hobbit.
Right, pre-Hobbit, and that they are going to be like kind of the Hobbit representative in this story, right? So and if I remember from the article, there's two of them, right? There's kind of a pair of them.
Oh, that's right. And they're both girls, aren't they?
I think so. They're both friends. Okay. Or they're like friends, they're both girls and friends. Yeah. So that would be my guess as to who's narrating it. And I initially too, I thought this was like horns or something like that. Like what? And that's why, he said Narnia, right?
Yeah.
As you identified, right?
Yep.
So, but I don't think, but it's interesting they chose this visual where it does really look like horns on first impression, because that does give off. It's like, well, let's try to capture some of the Narnia crowd too.
Yeah. I mean, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, the fawn's not so much a Middle Earth Tolkien thing, but yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better that it's a crown,
right,
and not actual horns.
Yes. I will say, just general impression. I like this person's face. They have a nice face.
They do have a nice face.
They have a very nice, warm,
friendly.
You look nice. Yeah. So
they do look nice.
For what it's worth.
Yeah. Maybe a good storyteller's face.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We have Before the King, obviously before Aragorn.
Yep.
Yeah. Before Return of the King. Then we have this very stark landscape, mountain, waterfall. And we have somebody clinging onto the side of an ice mountain with a very beautiful ice pick there.
Yeah, it's got to be an elf, don't you think?
I'm pretty sure that's Galadriel.
Oh yes, right? That is. I think you're right. I think that is Galadriel.
Yeah, yep. I'm almost certain this is Galadriel that we're dealing with. Again, like you all know, if you watch the Vanity Fair reaction video, I am not so sure about this whole like Galadriel as the main protagonist of the story, or like I and it's nothing against Galadriel. I just don't know that that's how Tolkien envisioned her, that's what he intended for her. He wrote a lot about her, but this is going to be an interesting debate, right? and look, y'all, this is something I'd encourage y'all to do, right? Like think less in terms of like just getting hardened into your opinion right now, and like, and think about like having an open mind, and like I'm going to be very critical at times when I disagree with choices that they make. Okay. But I'm also going to be honest and say like, when I'm not sure about it, right? I'm just going to be like, I'm not sure what I think about this. Okay. Here are my thoughts, but I could be wrong. Right. And because a lot of times we have initial reactions, but then if we're educated a little more, we learn, okay, that's actually interesting. Right. That could work. Yeah.
It's kind of like make the case, right? Prove me wrong.
Right. And it all gets back to me. What would Tolkien think? Right. What would Tolkien think?
Well, doesn't, because I remember we talked about like this, like in one of the stills we talked about was like this warrior kind of Galadriel, right? And she was wearing like armor and stuff. She does. I mean, so what I thought of when I like more that I thought about that after our initial reaction was like she has a very like Aowen like vibe there, right?
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember. I'm really glad we're rereading the Silmarillion because I don't remember a whole lot of details, but like she does like go to battle and stuff in the Silmarillion, doesn't she?
I don't recall any scenes where she specifically goes to battle in the Silmarillion.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Again, it's been, so we're rereading it right now. Subscribe to our channel, listen to our reread through. We're only on we just finished chapter 2, doing chapter 3 this week. But yeah, I don't recall any of that now. Like that she herself was a like had this like strong warrior princess sort of vibe to her.
Nonetheless, she's a very strong personality.
Oh, well, sure.
So
and she's she's one of the she's a powerful elf. She's of like the royal Noldoran house, right? So
I'm just saying I don't think it's too far-fetched. I mean, we'll just have to see how far they take it.
Well, it'll be an interesting debate, like I said.
It will be. It will be. Yeah. And that is a beautiful ice pick.
Well, as you would expect from an elf.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's just a beautiful costume.
Yeah, I was wondering which mountain she's climbing here, and I'm like, I really hope this isn't the Meneltarma, because this isn't how I picture the Meneltarma.
It could be though, based on that initial.
Well, it could be, but remember, like the Meneltarma, like was a place that they were supposed to be able to get to the top of by basically walking.
Right. Exactly. Maybe she's just taking the scenic route.
Maybe she's taking the scenic route. Yeah.
But there were other mountains. I mean, there would have been other mountains besides the Meneltarma.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, and it could be like the there certainly could be the Misty Mountains. I'm sure they'll play a part in it, because Lindon, we know, is going to be a it is on the western side of the Misty Mountains. So this could be, my money is that we're looking at a one of the Misty Mountains.
Okay.
But
can I just get a real quick geography lesson here?
Yeah.
Okay. So the very opening scene, you were saying you thought was a port, the eastern port of Númenor.
Right.
Right. Which is an island.
Right.
Right. So where in relation to Númenor would these Misty Mountains be? Like where? I'm just trying to get the big picture here. I guess I'm just very confused.
No, Númenor is an island kingdom all by itself, right?
Okay. So we're going to have some, but it's part of Middle Earth. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Númenor is part of Middle Earth.
Well, it's separate from the main landmass of Middle Earth, right?
Okay. So this would be the main landmass of Middle Earth.
Well, that's
not Númenor.
When I say Misty Mountains, now I don't know that this is Misty Mountains, but yes.
I mean, could this be on Númenor though? Could this mountain be on Númenor?
That's what I said. It could be the Meneltarma.
I see what you're saying.
If it is, I'm going to be very skeptical of that, right? I'm going to raise my eyebrows several times that choice to like portray the Meneltarma that way. So, anyway, yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm just trying to, as you know, I'm directionally challenged. So, and geographically challenged. So I'm just trying to like, just get an idea of like where this is actually going to be taking place. But so maybe they're just going to be jumping around to different locations.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now it does look like she's wearing, I assume this is mithril.
Mithril. Yeah.
Right. The mithril mail.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's that.
Yeah.
Next scene. Let's see here. What do we got? Before the Fellowship.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
So clearly this is a prequel. Yep.
Tying it all together. Here we have our friend.
Oh yeah.
Our friend on the raft.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't remember his name.
He looks like he's in trouble. I don't remember. Yeah, it's he's obviously supposed to be a man of some sort.
Yeah.
Not an elf.
So maybe this is like this is on the waters, maybe surrounding Númenor, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps, right. I was wondering if in the first scene here, this raft coming in, is that, this ship coming in, is that him? Right. No, I don't know.
That looks like a boat, not a raft.
Well, this could be shipwrecked, right? He's like shipwrecked, and like, this is all he's got left of the ship, right?
And this would be after that first scene. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay. Let's see. Then it kind of starts moving pretty quickly from this point. We've got our new elf friend, who is a Sylvan elf. I remember that from the article.
Yep.
And yeah, it looks like he's kind of catching an arrow in slow motion, and then I think he's firing it back.
And it's on fire.
Well, then before the ring, is it the same arrow that he's shooting here that's on fire? I don't know. Right?
I assumed it was, but maybe it's not.
Because we don't ever see this arrow leave his bow. And I'm sure
we do see him take a shot though.
Well, I'm sure there will be plenty of arrows in
there will be lots of arrows, I'm sure.
Yeah. Remember, teasers are supposed to have, teasers and trailers edit together the different scenes from the film to tell their own story, right? Yeah. That they want you to hear, right?
That is true.
And it has a different purpose than the show itself.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, but arrow looks to be an arrow firing into the. I mean, is it an arrow? I don't know. It looks like it is, but it doesn't have to be, because we never actually see that leave his bow. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Then this is our next scene. Who do you think this is, Greta? Any guesses?
Celeborn?
I don't think it's Celeborn. Because, and let me double check this. Here. Why do you think it's Celeborn? Let me just ask you that. Go ahead. I shouldn't have said anything before.
Well, no, I literally.
It's just a guess.
Yeah, I just pulled it out of thin air. Well, I know it's not Elrond because we already know what Elrond looks like.
We've already seen the actor.
He's clearly
Elrond.
older than Elrond. And to be completely honest, Celeborn was the only other elf name I could remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that this is. I think we're dealing with Gil-galad here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who would have been the High King of the Noldor, at the end of the Second Age.
That makes sense. Yep.
So, okay. And the reason I don't think it's Celeborn, I did think Celeborn is a possibility, but they've already established Celeborn in the visual language of the Peter Jackson films as having blonde hair. This figure obviously has darker hair.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And then Gil-galad, though, and check this out, right? Because Gil-galad actually does make an appearance in the flashback at the beginning of Lord of the Rings.
I don't remember that.
And look at this figure right here, right? That's Gil-galad in the.
Okay. There's definitely a resemblance between him and that guy.
I don't think it's the same actor. It may be, I don't know, but that's my guess.
Even the hairstyle.
Yeah.
And okay.
So I think this is Gil-galad who we're looking at here.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have a scene that's very reminiscent of something out of Rohan. So you see where I'm going with this. They're trying to tie this very strongly to the Peter Jackson films in terms of the visuals.
I was like, Éowyn.
Right.
Wait, no, that can't be Éowyn. That's probably Galadriel, huh?
It's probably Galadriel, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I do love me some good horse riding, though.
Well, it's pretty beautiful.
It is very beautiful, especially with that
beautiful
scenery.
Skill, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know that I have anything more to say about this scene. Things are kind of flashing by quickly at this point in the teaser.
Yeah.
And then we have this person, and I think this is Elrond. It's hard to tell because we don't have the we don't see his ears. But this looks like the actor who portrayed
I would agree with Elrond
that. To me.
I would agree with that.
And he's got the mithril mail over him right here. So and he looks like he's scared about what he's about to see, and he's about to see this thing, and I would be scared too.
Yes, I would be scared as well.
What do we think this is?
Oh, it's looked like it's related to an orc of some sort.
Yeah, I was just gonna go with some kind of troll.
Yeah.
Looks trollish to me. I'm not sure what variety, but yeah, it looks trollish to me.
It's terrifying.
Looks like a cross between the troll and the Demogorgon, maybe.
Yes. Yep. I'd say that's a good description. Yeah. That it looks very Demogorgonish from that angle.
The Trolley Gorgon.
The Trolley Gorgon. There it is.
With the like thing. What is it about mouths that they got to do? Like, you know, they can't just have like normal, like scary mouths, like beastly mouths. They got to have like gills that come out and like, you know, anyway, whatever. That's the thing.
That is the thing.
All right. Yeah.
New legend.
Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. New legend begins. We see something that looks very looks like elves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where this is, if this is Rivendell, if this is Lothlorien, if this is Lindon, if this is, you know, it's some elvish realm, it would appear.
But again, this looks very Middle Earthish. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait. You know what I just thought?
What?
Because it looks like it's way up in the air, right? I wonder.
Oh, it does look like it's very tall. Yes.
I wonder if this is the Meneltarma.
Do you think so?
Because look, like they're like, it's almost like they're gathered in like some kind of solemn thing, right?
Oh, that's a good. Oh, look, and there's steps over there.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. That could be cool. Oh yeah, there's even more. There's like a lot of them. I didn't see the ones behind, like in the further back in the trees. Like, aren't these people here too?
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
Right, there's a lot of people. Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be it.
And it would make sense because I feel like when the Númenóreans were doing their, you know, their Meneltarma business, right? They're probably emphasizing their elvishness, right? The elvishness of who they are, right? Because especially the royal house of Númenor is part elf, part man, right? You know, they have both. They have elvish blood, right? Within them. So, you know, and they were, I don't know. Yeah, I
that's a really good thought.
I just came up with that right now as we were watching it, and I really like that idea.
I like that idea too, and this is really very much how I pictured it. Like, I didn't picture like that snowy ice cap, like, you know, like Galadriel was climbing. I pictured it like a really beautiful, you know, mountain with
peaceful
flowers and leaves, and like a kind of mountain you would want to go and take a hike on.
By the way, if you're interested in learning more about like how Tolkien described Númenor and how he described like kind of the culture of Númenor, we've done several episodes on, you know, we about a year ago, maybe longer, we did a second age deep dive of several episodes that you can go back and find on our YouTube channel. And, you know, we go way into all of the details that he laid out, talk about all the different possibilities there. So if you're wondering what the heck the Meneltarma is, go check out those episodes, or just go read Unfinished Tales, a description of Númenor. And you can read about it there. Basically, the Meneltarma was the pillar of heaven. It's the mountain in the middle of Númenor, and it was there that the Númenóreans like basically carried out their religious practices. So
it was like their place of worship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have dwarf. I believe this is Durin IV.
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like a pretty good dwarf to me.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Good to me.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Then we have Elrond for sure. This is definitely Elrond here. We see the ears. We see the flowy hair right here. What are we holding there? Can we tell?
I'm guessing it's like the hilt of a sword.
Yeah. Ooh, looking good. Giving a dirty look right there. What did I do, Elrond?
You're getting the side eye. Yes.
And then we have this figure who I believe is the dwarf princess.
Dwarf princess. Yep.
That we were introduced to from the Vanity Fair article. I'm not sure what she's doing there, but you know, she seems to be either singing or wailing. Yes, or maybe offering a prayer. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that could be it too.
Yeah. And then we have this scene that is Galadriel appearing to be shipwrecked. There's the elvish ear, golden hair, same actress.
And it must be the man, right? Yeah. The new guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
That we saw shipwrecked earlier.
That's what I'm thinking.
And he's discovering her being an elf,
right?
I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, there we go. Not much to do with that.
No.
This one, big explosion, looks like naked people.
Naked people.
Looks like a dwarf. Because of the hair and the beard. Appears to be a dwarf. This may be Elrond right here. Like the hair kind of looks Elrondish to me from behind.
Naked.
Well, I think he's wearing like an undergarment of some sort right here. So, but he may be naked because he was working in a hot place, right?
So, or is this like an explosion? It looks very destructive.
It does. It looks like maybe it was like a mine, or like maybe this may be something having to do with the creation of the rings themselves. And something goes wrong in the creation of the rings.
I feel like that's a woman. I don't think that's Elrond.
Yeah.
Hair.
I wonder. Oh, it could be the Hobbit figure, the Harfoot figure that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. The hair just looks too long though, and not curly enough. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look over here. There's the Balrog right there. It did it all right there.
Oh Balrog.
Yeah. Messing around, y'all. Although I don't know, maybe it is. Let's see. Explosion.
Oh, yeah, and that must just be a panning out from what we just saw.
Yeah, I think it is. It happens very quickly. I'm not sure we can break down the stills very much.
Yeah. Okay. Lots of fire and sparks.
Yep.
And things flying.
Who do we have? We have
okay, I don't even remember seeing this in the trailer. Is that just how quickly it moved?
Yeah, well, it looks like
I blinked and missed it.
Well, I know. And this last part I think is like it's like almost like,
oh, that's right.
Like,
yes.
Maybe one frame or two frames, per per scene here.
What is that?
So it looks like these look like dwarves. I would say these are dwarf lords of some sort. So maybe these are the dwarf lords who the rings were given to. It looks like they're crafting rings, right? Is my guess. So maybe this is the dwarfs being given their rings.
Okay.
Or crafting their rings.
Okay.
Then we have, I'm not sure if this is the same elf we saw before, but it looks like an elf jumping with an axe.
And a chain.
Maybe the chain maybe tied to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely looks like they're doing some kind of smith work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm not sure what we're looking at.
He's clearly like about to attack something.
Yeah. But he's got a chain on his leg, and then he's got an axe right here, and it looks like an elf ear right there.
Yeah. Maybe he's like being held prisoner and he's like trying to escape or something.
That may be it. And then we have a battle scene here. Is this Elrond again? It looks like an elf ear.
An elf, but the hair is all wrong.
Yeah, the hair doesn't look like him. Hard to tell there. Maybe this is Celebrimbor. I have not spent any time like learning who the actors are for this thing, like so that I can actually tell who these people are, in terms of their actors, and then know what roles they're playing. I'm just guessing. This is like an impression guess on like different figures. So, but it does look like a very intense battle scene here.
It does, yeah.
Not sure what else to do with this one. And then a nice little moment between two hands. Looks like a child's hand and a grown-up's hand. So I'm guessing. I think this is probably that. It looks like that man. No,
the hunters.
Maybe one of the hunters, but maybe that man too, who is on the raft. Looks like it could be his hand as well. And then it looks like we have a Harfoot hand.
Harfoot hand.
Right
yeah.
Here,
So maybe the girl from the beginning, or maybe her friend.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go. That's it.
Okay.
So that's our breakdown of the teaser trailer from the Super Bowl. Love to hear your thoughts on different things, different little notes that you picked up, any possible Easter eggs that we missed. That's our best take on what we saw in this teaser trailer last night. And I think overall I'm trying to retain that cautious optimism I talked about. I still remain very deeply concerned about the whole compressing 3,000 years into a single point in time comment for a number of reasons. And I'm going to break that down, like I said, at some point this week in a video, make that case for why I find that very concerning. And, but I maintain the position that I'm going to watch this show and I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to talk a lot about it on the podcast. I have a lot of thoughts. There's so much to talk about, and I want the future of Tolkien fandom to be bright for all of us, right? To be able to, to enjoy these stories and mostly to feel good that we're doing justice to Tolkien's own vision.
Yeah.
Right. To Tolkien's own vision for these things. That is in the end, the most important thing to me. So let us know your overall impression down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. And unless you got anything else, Greta.
No, I was just going to say that after kind of breaking it down and taking it a little slower and discussing scene by scene, I think I'm a little bit more excited about it. Like I'm really I'm feeling a little bit more excited.
Yeah,
I think that's the right word.
Yeah,
I'm more interested to see because before when I watched it, I feel like take it or leave it, and if I have some extra time on my hands, maybe I'll watch it. But now I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more intrigued.
Well, the future of Middle Earth is very interesting, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So
indeed it is. And regardless, we're gonna have a ton to talk about.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, y'all, thanks for watching, and we will talk at you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.